The policy point, just like the doctor has actually mentioned, I think we have quite a number of agencies doing the same things and not even doing it effectively. I mean, it wouldn't be such a terrible thing if they were all collaborating and we could actually see tangible results. The truth of the matter is our waterways are not as developed as we would like them to be. You know, the attention we are paying to this issue sadly is coming at a point where popular people have been affected. And this thing has been there. Of course, it is increasing because, of course, our population is increasing. And at the same time, we can actually see that within the cities, you know, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, Abuja, maybe even Kano and Kaduna, when these incidents happen, it actually draws a lot of attention. But the majority of these incidents would always happen in the fringes, in the places where not a lot of people have access to news. I digress, but just quickly, I would like to add that it is even likely that the incident in Annam, when the 5 people, who sadly passed away, were rescued, it is also likely that they were still alive, and that the people didn't know what to do. And there was no response, because there was probably no CPR, probably no, resuscitation. And so we can go to the policy, point where we talk about how can we make the agencies do their job. It actually has to come from the presidential table. And the reason is because we cannot simply talk these agencies into working. We can't talk them into working. However, somebody in power can mandate them, can force them into some sort of state of emergency to perform their functions, either by merging them, by dividing them, or scrapping them, right? And setting them to work. The truth is, in places like Taraba, where people are still traversing the water on barges. A barge is just I would say a piece of wood scrapped together. People are traversing the waters with barges, fishing on them. It's capsizing at a very alarming rate, and these things are not being reported. And that's the state of the waterway, transport system. We're not even talking about speedboats, because those are very expensive. Remember that this is a country where people still do fishing, and they're not fishing on trolleys, they're fishing on canoes. And the likelihood of canoes capsizing after a very strong wind is very high. These things are happening, and that's also an accident. Those are things that we're not even talking about right now. So what are we talking about here? Enforcing, the policies, my colleagues have actually have talked about regulations, has to come from the table of the president, because it is not just something we can talk about from the central popular places. We have to look at what is obtainable across Nigeria, what is obtainable as a practice across Nigeria, and how can people assess the slightest amount of safety. If we ask a question now, we say, how much is a life jacket? You may be astonished. The price may be much more than the minimum wage. I don't know the price. It may be up to the, it may cost so much. And when we are talking about people who are trying to scrap a living, out of fishing, asking them to get a life jacket that is not free may not become, the top priority at the point. And these are people who go out every day to do the same thing. So we are at a point where people would rather take risks with their lives than do safety, because safety is too expensive.
People would rather take risks with their lives than do safety.
Because safety is more expensive.
Okay.